Welcome to Shanmugam IAS Academy and today's editorial analysis of 7th December 2021. And this is very important topic. And this we all know this, the National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF, shortly we are calling this as, and that this is the ranking of the state-run higher education institutions together with centrally funded institutions such as the Indian Institutes of Technology and the Indian Institute of Science, the National Institute of Technology and central universities, etc. So here we all need to know that these are the centrally funded institutions and etc. Under using this, the National Institutional Ranking Framework or the NIRF, a methodology adopted by the Ministry of Education. And who is giving this? Under which ministry it is this? This is under the Ministry of Education, that is Government of India, to rank the institutions of higher education in India, that is comparing the apples and the oranges. This is what the editorial about, and now I am going to give a clear view of what this National Institutional Ranking Framework is about. So we all need to know this is a centrally funded institutions. Example, the IITs, the IISCs, and the National Institute of Technologies, the central universities, all are ranked in this National Institutional Ranking Framework. So what is about this national, what we all know about this National Institutional Ranking Framework? What is this exactly? The National Institutional Ranking Framework was approved by the Ministry of Education, that is erstwhile it was Ministry of Human Resource Development, in September 2015. That was at that time it was approved. So it is just a brief history of that. The NIRF, it is first ever effort by the government to rank the higher education institutions in the country. And the participation of in the NIRF, that is the Nationally Institutional Ranking Framework, is that the first ever effort. We all know this. This is by the Ministry of Education. And what is happening this now? And what are the 5 important parameters in this National Institutional Ranking Framework? We need to know, because these can be asked in the prelims in the objective format. They can ask you what are the parameters which they are taking in calculating this National Institutional Ranking Framework, and under which ministry it is coming. This is also one of the question they can ask. And other thing, these assessment parameters are very important. So the teaching, learning and resource, shortly we will be calling it as TLR. This is one factor, one parameter under which the NIRF is calculating. And second factor is the research and professional practice. And third one is the graduation outcomes. Fourth one, outreach and the inclusivity. And fifth one, finally, that is the peer perception. These are the 5 parameters which are taken into account by the National Institutional Ranking Framework. The reasons for launch of NIRF is a subjectivity in the ranking methodology developed by the QS World University. The QS here is the Quacquarelli Simons World University, and this was, they are the first who launched this program. And this reason for launching NIRF is the subjectivity in the ranking methodology, which was developed with the QS World University rankings, and the Times Higher Education World University ranking led India to start its own ranking system for India's higher education, that is in the line of Shanghai rankings. Because these two universities, they started this NIRF, so because of them we are also launched this program in the country. And this NIRF is the 6th year. This is the 6th time we are calculating this thing. The rankings have been given, but it continues only rank India's higher educational institutions, whereas the Shanghai rankings where we are comparing with that, because they were the international in character. The Shanghai rankings were international in character, whereas the NIRF is the only Indian higher educational institutions are calculating in this. So they can ask you in prelims questions. So does it in NIRF, does it international, or does it only stick to the Indian higher educational institutions? So it is only sticking to Indian higher educational institutions, not as the Shanghai rankings, because Shanghai rankings, it was the international in character for the first year itself. And the long term plan of this NIRF is to make it an international league table. So this is our goal. like we wanted to make it an international league table. Why is NIRF ranking is important for us? First of all, because the credibility of the education institute is built by the NIRF ranking. And absolutely, because it was correct, because the ranks attained by these educational institutions help students to choose the best college to enroll in, because they need to know which rank which university is getting, which is the topmost university. This makes the process very easy for the students to choose the best college to enroll in, and it is one of the thing. And second one, the NIRF ranking promotes healthy challenging among different institutes to improve on their functioning and other aspects so as to attain a spot in the ranking. So this is also another factor. It develops, it promotes the healthy challenge between the different institutions. This is also one of the factor. And third one, that is NIRF ranking is taken a reliable ranking, for it is brought by the Ministry of Education. That is, I have already told you in the starting of this topic, the clustered parameters on which the institutions are ranked are weight based. The public relations parameters has not been given much weight, so as to avoid these false claims and led to this credible ranking. And this NIRF outlines a methodology to rank higher educational institutions across the country, which is based on the set of metrics for the ranking of HEIS, and the rationale to compare the state universities and the colleges with the League of India, to which the central government is committed to sponsoring resources and infrastructure. I have already told you this NIRF is calculating the giving the rankings to the institutes which are centrally funded institutes, and the central government till now they have summing up more than 7,686 crore, and to the IITs and to the central universities they have been spending, they are giving the more than 7,643 crores for the central universities in the union budget of 2021. This is important. And according to All India Survey on Higher Education, this is important, the All India Survey on Higher Education, that is in the 2019 and 20th report, there are 1043 higher educational institutions in the country. As per this report, this All India Survey on Higher Education, a close study of this data shows that 184 are centrally funded institutions out of 1043 higher educational institutions in the country, to which the government of India is generously allocates its financial resources, in contrast to inadequate financial support which is provided by the state governments, that is in the respective of their state universities and the colleges. So it is very less in number, because the report said that the All India Survey of Higher Education, they said that there are more than 1043 higher educational institutions, but how many are centrally funded institutions? In that 184 only. So the comparing the state and central funded institutions, deficiencies in state sponsored higher educational institutions is in the focus. The financial health of the state sponsored higher educational institutions is an open secret, with salary and pension liabilities are barely being managed here. Interestingly, what is happening here? No agency carries out a cost benefit analysis of the state versus the centrally funded higher educational institutions, because this has to be done. The cost benefit analysis has to be done between the state versus the central funded higher educational institutions on economic indicators such as the return on the investment the government made into them, vis-a-vis that the contributions of the students in the nation building parameters, such as the number of students who passed out, several in the rural areas, and tier 2, tier 3 cities also of the country, bringing this relief to the common man. This is a good factor, but still, while the students who pass out of the elite institutions such as the IIT, the IISs, the NITs generally preferred to move to abroad in search of higher studies. This is what happening, and the better, because of better career prospects. A majority of the state higher education institutions contribute immensely in building the local economy, and given the challenges the state higher educational institutions face in the day-to-day functioning, the NARF seems to have taken cognizance of only strengthening the institutions while completely disregarding the problems and impediments they have to encounter these things. They have to come and see these challenges. The completely disregarding the problems which are the having in these institutions. These has to be taken care, and it must be noted that more than 420 universities in India are located in rural areas. The scarce resource and the that is the attitude of the states in such institutions from competing with centrally sponsored and strategically located higher educational institutions. This is important. The report says that more than 420 universities are in India are located in the rural areas. So this is one of the important thing of that survey. And to take the stock of the situation, let us first analyze the two important, that is the national institutional ranking framework parameters. The parameters, the 5 parameters I have already told you in the starting of this topic, and that is the teaching, learning and the resource includes what they include. The first parameter includes the student strength, including the doctoral students, faculty student ratio with the emphasis on permanent faculty, a combined metric for faculty with a qualification of PhD and experience and financial resources under utilization too. So this is the first factor, includes all these parameters in that. The second one, the absence of adequate faculty strength. Most state higher educational institutions lag behind in this crucial NIRF parameter for ranking. So this is one of the thing, because absence of adequate faculty is also one of the factor why the state higher education institutions are behind the crucial NIRF parameter. Research and professional practice encompasses a combined metric for publications, and the most laboratories need drastic modernization in keeping pace with the today's market demand. Obviously, now we are like the laboratories have been technologically improving these days. The most of the laboratories should be modernized, and it is no wonder that the state higher educational institutions fare miserably in this parameter. And the quality research of these publications and the number of patents filed in the state higher education institutions are contingent on well equipped laboratories. So modern libraries we needed and generously funded infrastructure, and it imperates the policymakers to reorient the financial allocation strategies towards the state higher educational institutions. I am talking here about the state higher educational institution. The infrastructure and the modern libraries and the equipped laboratories, everything has to be improved. So this makes the policymakers to allocate some of the strategies towards the state higher educational institutions. And what are the correcting measures here? The most useful purpose that the ranking can serve but ignored so far is to identify the areas of improvement here. So this can mitigate the huge difference that presently exists between the best and the rest of the higher educational institutions. So we need to differ this gap that is which is existing nowadays between the best and the rest of the higher educational institutions in the country. And therefore in the conclusion we can say this: there are two are put together, that is ranking of higher educational institutions on a common scale purely based on the strengths without taking note of the challenges, and in the time that is NARF, it plans an appropriate mechanism to rate the output and the performance of the institutes. To concluding, the fund and the faculty, the two most neglected areas, are critical not only for the research performance but also for the overall ranking. Here I have told you the state higher educational institutions are lacking in this faculty and this the fund. These are the most critical areas for the research and performance for the overall ranking. And after all, the no nation can afford a few islands of excellence surrounded by the sea of mediocrity, and we are condemning them to the eternal inferiority. So this is the way you have to frame an answer in the mains. And in this I have told you the main things which are important for the prelims, under which ministry it is coming and what are the parameters it is calculating under NARF and what are they. So these are all the points important for the prelims point of view, and in the mains this is the way you have to frame the answer. And the important points and all I have told you. If you have any doubts and queries, just tell us in the comment section. We'll definitely rectify that. And thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.